Hello student, I hope you all are safe at home. Today I am going to explain you chapter number 10 of social science, organs of government. Now children, you have already studied in the previous class the three main organs of the government, that is the legislature, the executive and the judiciary. Now in this chapter, we will study in detail the formation of all these three organs of the government, their powers, their functions, and their interpersonal relations. Now, the first one, legislative. The branch or organ of the government which creates and passes all the laws in the country is known as legislature or legislative body. After laws are passed, there must be some arrangement to ensure that they are obeyed. Now, the second one is executive, the organ of the government which does the function of execution and administration of laws is called the executive. After framing and executing the laws, there are chances that these laws may not be obeyed. And the third one is judiciary. The third organ of government, called the judiciary, does the function of taking action against people who disobey or break the laws is called judiciary. Now they are interrelation. Although these are three different organs of the government, they are always interrelated. The main objective of the nation is to maintain law and order and thereby achieve the welfare of the nation. However, while doing this, the freedom and the fundamental rights of the citizen should also be maintained. The government can progress and work efficiently only if there is coordination and cooperation among these three organs. Now, let us discuss the principle of division of power. The government carries out various functions of the state. Although these are different from one another, they are interrelated at many areas. The functions of all the three organs of the government, namely legislative, executive, and judiciary, are different, and all of these require a certain expertise. So, all the three organs of the government are run by different people, and each organ carries out its own function. Had there been only one organ of the government and all the powers lied with it, it would lead to supremacy and misuse of power. This would also affect national integrity and well being. To avoid these problems, the government has divided its powers in three parts, that is, among its three organs. By dividing the powers, its misuse is avoided. Moreover, division of power enables an efficient work system. For example, the legislative has the power to formulate laws, but some powers are also given to the executive and the judiciary to see that the legislative does not misuse its power to formulate laws that could prove harmful for the nation. Similarly, the executive is controlled by giving powers to the legislative and the judiciary, and the judicial system is controlled by giving powers to the legislative and the executive. Thus, we can say that the powers are distributed in such a way that none of the organ of the government can claim full authority over works, procedures, or law of India. Now student, let me explain you the structure of the legislature. India is a republic having a parliamentary democracy. The representation of the people at the center is seen at the parliament, and of the state is seen in the legislative assembly. The parliament is an important and apex organization of the nation. The Indian parliament consists of the president, the Vice President, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. Legislature is of two types. First one, unicameral legislature. When the legislature is consisting of one house, it is called unicameral legislature. Second one, bicameral legislature. When the legislature is consisting of two houses, it is called bicameral legislature. At the center level, the upper house of the legislature is called the Rajya Sabha and the lower house is called the Lok Sabha. At the state level, the legislature consists of the Legislative Assembly and the Legislative Council. Most of the states have only Legislative Assembly. States like Bihar, Uttar Pradesh and Maharashtra also have Legislative Council too. Now, legislature at the central level, Parliament, Lok Sabha. The lower house of the Parliament is called Lok Sabha or House of People. Lok Sabha is more powerful than the Rajya Sabha. The Speaker of the Lok Sabha is the presiding officer of the Lok Sabha. There are 26 members of Gujarat in the Lok Sabha. Now the members of the Lok Sabha are the representatives of the people. These members are directly elected by the citizens of India through direct election. Lok Sabha consists of 545 members. Out of the 545 members, 2 members are selected by the President from the Anglo-Indian community. President is a part of the Parliament, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. The President addresses the first meeting of the Parliament and the joint session of the Parliament. Beside these two occasions, the President never attends the Parliament. The President can summon both the houses of the Parliament, can withhold the proceedings of both the houses of the Parliament and can even dissolve the Parliament. A bill which has passed through 3 readings in both the houses of the Parliament can become an act only after the President signs it. Lok Sabha is not a permanent house. Its term is of 5 years if it is not dissolved before the completion of the term. Constitution of India is supreme and not the Parliament. Hence, the Parliament has to enjoy its power within the limits prescribed by the Constitution. If the law framed by the Parliament violates the Constitution, they can be challenged in the court. If the court finds the framed law against the provision of the Constitution, the court can nullify the law. Now, qualification for membership of Lok Sabha. To be qualified as a candidate and to be elected as a member of Lok Sabha, must be a citizen of India having minimum age 25 years, should not be mentally unsound, insolvent, bankrupt or criminal, should not be a government employee. The term of Lok Sabha is 5 years. The year mentioned in the term indicates that Lok Sabha is not a permanent house. This means that if needed, the President, on the advice of the Prime Minister, can dissolve the Lok Sabha before its term ends. Also, in case of national emergency, the term of the Lok Sabha can be extended for 1 more year. If the President dissolves the Lok Sabha, then one cannot go against the President for cancelling the Lok Sabha. Now, the quorum. Quorum of the Lok Sabha. The minimum quorum of the Lok Sabha should be 1/10. This means in order to consider a decision of Lok Sabha as valid, minimum 55 out of 545 members should be present. Now the quorum of the Rajya Sabha. The minimum quorum of the Rajya Sabha is also 1/10. This means in order to consider a decision of Rajya Sabha valid, minimum 25 out of 250 members should be present. Now student, in my next video I will explain you the further topic. Thank you.